Greetings from Vasva Engineering Group. We take this opportunity to make aware to our esteemed customer, how to design a tender package, which would be dispute-free during course of work execution. There are several criteria. However, this subject is related to selection of a crane for a project. As it is a common practice, customer invites price quotes for various erection jobs such as erection of belt conveyors, bag filters, bucket elevators and structures etc. in rupees per metric ton basis, whereas customer has provided certain quantity of work. At times customer asks bidder to consider the crane in their scope. That is in contractor's scope. Contractor can take the crane in their scope, provided customer cooperates them in certain points and agrees to certain genuine points. The flow chart is explained here. Please see the flow chart. This is the overall flow chart for visualization. Please see patiently for a few seconds, the detailed explanation follows. The flow chart shall also be sent to customer through email, if they ask us to provide. There is also Excel sheet software, which will help the customer to select the option for crane hiring. This can also be shared if requirement arises. Alright. Let's explain the topic in details. Whenever customer wants that contractor should hire a crane, especially capacity more than 50 metric ton, customer must furnish a tentative date within ±7 days. Otherwise, how the contractor will hire the crane? Obviously, crane provider will ask, what is the date of requirement? Normally higher capacity cranes are preoccupied in market and their availability depends on whether a particular crane is free during a particular period. Also, customer need to agree that in case they postpone the date of requirement of crane, then the crane owner may or may not agree to deploy their crane at revised date. Of course, the crane is hired by the contractor. Crane owner might have other preoccupied assignments elsewhere, and commitment to other customers. Therefore, customer should agree that in case of such a situation occurs, then contractor will be free from their obligation in arranging the crane. And therefore, customer will take responsibility. That means they will hire the crane. Even if the contractor is able to locate another crane, it may not be at same price. It may be at higher price also, depending on its demand and capacity. Suppose a 100 metric ton crane was suitable but at 11th hour only a 125 metric ton crane was available. Naturally the rental charges are likely to be high. Also, it may so happen that alternate crane is available at a location which is at a long distance from site, in comparison to earlier selected crane. Consequently, the mobilization and demobilization expenses of alternate crane may be higher than initially selected crane. Suppose the earlier crane was supposed to come from a distance of 50 km from site, and the second crane was available from 120 km from site. Naturally the expenses of mobilization will be higher for the second crane. Therefore, customer must agree that in case of postponement of date, they will make amendment of rental charges if required. appropriate price amendment may be required, which customer should agree. Under this understanding only the matter can proceed further. Now, if customer agrees the above point, then there may be two alternatives. First one, either customer advises the contractor to decide the capacity and hire a suitable crane. That means contractor should study the drawings, make assessment of work and select a suitable crane. Or second one, customer selects the capacity and specification of crane and advises the contractor to hire that crane only. It is not botheration of contractor how the capacity has been worked out. Customer has worked out the capacity and advised the contractor right away to adhere to it. Now, in first case, if customer asks the bidder to decide the capacity, then obviously bidder needs the following information. Number 1. The GA drawing of plant and machineries. Number 2, weight of job, swing radius and elevation of working. All these should be provided with a neat dimension sketch. Customer is likely to agree to this valid and logical point, but in addition customer should appreciate that, in case of changes in drawings and input data, the selection of crane will differ. And consequently if a higher capacity crane is required at later stage, then contractor may not be able to hire the crane at 11th hour. In that case customer should hire the crane at their expenses. Also, even if the contractor gets the higher capacity crane, the price amendment must be done by customer. Customer should agree this point. Under this understanding only the matter can proceed further. One more point, that is if the contractor is free to decide the capacity of crane, the contractor may bring multiple capacity of cranes as per requirement of job. Say, for example 50 metric ton capacity crane for 1 month and 150 metric ton capacity crane for 15 days. Now, all the above points have been discussed. Customer agreed to all the points. That means either contractor will get the crane as per customer's specification, or hire the crane as per own assessment. Of course as per drawings and input data provided by customer. Still then, it is not enough to quote the price of crane. After mobilization of crane, there are certain other requirements of crane. Number 1, marching of trailers to work spot. There should be appropriate road. If not, there may be requirement of cutting trees, modification of curbstones, removal of overhead cables etc. Then second point is, space for storage of crane parts. Third point is, assembly space for crane boom. This is a major factor for a work at much higher elevation. Number 4 is, swinging space of crane. At times, the counterweight and superlift attachment is likely to conflict existing building or structure. Why all these points are discussed here? This is because at the 11th hour there should not be any controversy and dispute. This is very crucial factor, especially in an existing plant setup. The requirement of one crane may be different from other. One crane owner may say that you have to dismantle a building because the counterweight will foul. Whereas the other crane may not have that issue. Construction features of two different cranes are different. Now let us come to the point. If the customer agrees that let the contractor hire the crane and whatever requirement of the crane will arise, customer will comply or fulfill. Customer says, don't worry. When the crane operator will come and whatever they will demand for operation of crane, we shall fulfill. We shall dismantle any structure, plant and machinery demanded by crane operator. You need not worry. Then it is fine. Then contractor need not bother for arrangement of site visit, site visit of crane suppliers. Contractor will get price from crane providers and can enter into commercial negotiations. Otherwise, contractor can't enter into commercial negotiation unless site visit is being organized by contractor and customer jointly. To invite few suitable crane agencies. If customer doesn't want to take risk, I mean, if customer can't commit to make compliance of any dam requirement of crane, then obviously contractor will call all the crane suppliers to site for physical assessment. All the site requirements assessed by crane operators will be declared by crane providers then and there in presence of the customer. It is far better. If a crane provider demands lot many buildings to be demolished, or lot many plant and machineries be dismantled, then only their crane can operate. It will be clear right in the initial stage, let the customer reject that crane provider. Contractor would eliminate their bid. Ultimately customer may approve only few selected crane providers, who don't impose much work on customer. And much expenses also. Now contractor will take price offer for these approved bidders and then able to participate in commercial negotiations. Before commercial negotiations, one more point is to be clarified by customer. There are two alternatives of quoting the price. Number 1, quoting the price of crane separately, per month basis or so. Also, mobilization and demobilization extra. Number 2, including the cost of crane in the work and quote the price of job. Say, there is 200 metric ton of erection. Price of erection is say rupees 10,000 per metric ton without crane. Say the crane rental charges are estimated rupees 2 lakh. Then price loading of crane per metric ton is 2 lakh divided by 200, that is 1,000 rupees. So price of erection with crane should be rupees 10,000 plus rupees 1,000, that is 11,000 rupees per ton. In option 2, where the crane cost is included in the job, customer should ensure that contractor gets enough front for crane. Otherwise customer will pay the idle charges. Till the zero date. What is zero date? Zero date is the date by which customer fulfills all obligations as per contract, like drawings, civil fronts, approach roads, advance payment etc. Also, if customer wants to use this crane elsewhere for their work, then they will pay the rental charges. Under these conditions, second option will be accepted by contractor and enter into commercial negotiation. Otherwise let the crane be quoted separately on monthly rental basis. In first option of course, these conditions are not applicable. If billing of crane will be as per actual hiring period. Virtually the crane is owned by customer. Therefore, if they use the crane elsewhere, they need not pay the hourly rental charges. However, they should compensate free issue of diesel, overtime of crane etc. Also, the delay of the crane beyond agreed period may not be paid by customer. The delay caused by contractor will be borne by the contractor, they will pay the rental charges from their pocket. One more point, in second case, where the crane cost is included in the unit price of work, there may be two different cases. Number 1. The work may be a lump sum work. For example, ESP upgradation work in lump sum basis, and the crane cost is in lump sum basis. And both are added. Here the quantity of work is not variable. After completion of work the billing amount of work is fixed and billing amount of crane is also fixed, of course included together as one price entity. Number 2. The work is based on quantity, I mean tonnage basis, where the quantity is variable. If the quantity is variable, then negative variation is not allowed, because the crane price is divided into the minimum guaranteed quantity. In aforesaid case, suppose, work awarded in 200 metric ton and later on actual measurement of total work was found say 180 metric ton. So, there was a shortfall of 200 minus 180 is equal to 20 metric ton. So, 20 tons multiplied by 1,000 rupees that is equal to 20,000 rupees is a shortfall in crane hiring charges. Contractor is virtually getting 1,80,000 rupees in place of 2 lakh rupees on account of crane. Therefore, in spite of actual quantity being less than the minimum guaranteed quantity. The minimum guaranteed quantity shall be claimed. It is advisable to freeze both the price of work, that is, with crane and without crane. In the aforesaid case, it is like this. With crane it is Rs 11,000 per metric ton, and without crane Rs 10,000 per metric ton. This will avoid dispute. If due to some reasons, it was necessary by contractor to use customer's crane to accomplish some part of work. Since hiring of crane is a major investment for construction, we can take the crane if appropriate advance amount is given. As mentioned in the quotation. I mean, customer undertakes to give additional advance amount for crane to that extent. Last but not the least, customer should provide all MS plates of suitable thickness for outriggers of crane and necessary for crane marching. If required by crane operator, customer should provide walkie-talkie and signaling system as required for operation of crane. Hope we are clear on our views. All the above points cleared right during negotiation stage. Avoid all disputes during course of execution and the work will be carried out hassle-free. Customer should feel free to get any clarification. Thank you.